Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to share this cool video with you guys. I just got the 2017 Mark 7 Golf GTI SE. So with the SE, you get a couple of features that are a little better than the lower grade model. For starters, you get the bigger brakes, and on the brake calipers it has the GTI insignia on it. I think the engine gets a boost of 10 more horsepower, and just little upgrades to the interior as well. There she sits. You get the 18-inch wheels, adjustable headlights with turning assistance, so it lights up where you turn. This light right here turns on when you're turning left or right. You got your red GTI badging there. Roof spoiler, backup camera. You also get dual exhaust. I think this is an upgrade from the earlier models that had only one exhaust on the turbo models. Let's go ahead and check out the inside. You also get keyless entry, where you can go inside. This is my car cover here. My seat cover. Leather and heated seats. Push start. You get your touchscreen infotainment center with Apple CarPlay capabilities. Paddle shifters, I upgraded mine to these silver accented ones. Here's your button for your heated seats. 3 levels to it. Passenger and driver, both sides. You have your performance monitor. I like to keep it on the torque, or not the torque, the G levels, so how much push you feel when you accelerate, PSI, your turbo pressure, and then your kilowatts, which is torque, I believe. Sunroof, fully auto sunroof. So you get your fully auto sunroof there. You also have a button where you can turn on the rear lights. Back seat. Let's check out the engine. I'll tell you guys about my engine mods that I've done to this car so far. So far I have the engine cold air intake. I did a inlet pipe. I did the turbo muffler delete. And that's about it. That's all I got on it. You can see back there has the ECS inlet pipe. So we're here in the GTI, and overall this is a really good car. When was gonna purchase this, it was either gonna be this car or a Ford Focus ST. Those were the two cars I was looking at purchasing. I decided to go with this one after looking at both in person. I went to a couple dealers and checked them out, and after seeing them in person, I was leaning more towards the GTI. It just had a more mature look to it. The interior gave me a better, like, it was built better than the ST. I decided to go ahead and get one of these, and after a while of driving it, it just feels refined. The engine feels strong. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break down on you at any moment. It just feels really well built. I like that the interior, the seats keep you really hugged in when you're driving. All your instruments, everything that you need is very ergonomic. It feels really sturdy when you press your turn signals, when you turn on your high beams. The steering wheel is awesome. You have your flat bottom here as you turn. A very nice grip to it. There's a very nice grip to the steering wheel, and it's really soft. I'm not sure if it's real leather or what material it is, but it feels like you're driving a car that is meant to be driven hard. With that said, I don't recommend driving these cars too hard because it is a 4-cylinder, you know, smaller engine. I know you can tune them and push a lot of horsepower, but I think you're gonna sacrifice a lot of your reliability if you're doing that. So I would just, for me, I got it as a daily driver. I don't want to get too heavily into the mods, but I did want something with a little more step into it. So I didn't want to get just like a Jetta or a Passat, something like that. I wanted something with a little more spice to it, but yet it's also a little more practical, and that it has 4 doors. I opted for the 4 doors. I didn't want the coupe because it's a hassle to try to get people back there. So it needed to have 4 doors, needed to be leather, and it needed to be like a dark color on the outside. I wasn't a fan of like the reds or the whites. I was opting for this color, which I think it's gunmetal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Gunmetal gray. Another cool thing about this car that I don't think is really well known is this little trick I found. It might be a thing or it might not, but for me, I found that it works really well. So let's say that you want to drive your car in sport mode. I'm gonna turn off the sport mode right now. It's in normal. So you can do it a variety of ways. You can switch the lever here and switch it back. It's gonna change to an S up here, meaning you're in sport mode. But let's say that you don't want the rev changes to be as high because it's kind of a more aggressive driving style. What you can do is you can put the car in sport mode. Okay, so it's in sport. You change it on here to sport, and then you take it off. This is gonna stay on, so it's lighted on right now. It has an orange color to it, but the S is not up here. What that's gonna do is when you're driving, you're not gonna have the higher shift points on your revs over here. It's gonna shift like if you weren't in sport mode, but you're still gonna get the engine sound and some of the other features. I don't really know what other things it might do, but I've noticed that it makes the engine sound louder, and it doesn't have the higher rev changes. For me, I think that it's a more enjoyable way of driving it, having it that way, but you can try it out for yourself and let me know what you think. I found that out through a lot of trial and error, and I don't know, to me it's really enjoyable putting it that way. You'll also find that it's gonna say sport mode up here, but you won't have the S up here. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with this car. If you're looking into getting one, I highly suggest it. They are overall good cars, good on gas mileage. You can use regular or premium fuel on them, you know, whatever fits your driving style and the way that you want to go forward with this car. If you are looking into getting one of these, I suggest that you don't get one that's heavily modded, because you really don't know what the other person was trying to go for with that build that they were doing. I'd stay away from anything with coilovers. It's gonna take away from the drivability of it. But that's for me. I like to keep the stock look, the stock feel of the cars, so I can get the real driving experience from them. But you know, if you are leaning towards that, you just want to make sure that the car that you get, if it's modded and tuned, that it doesn't have those issues where it's like burning oil or leaking oil, overheating, you know, the regular things that you would look for in any car. And something else to think about is if you get the car modded, it might lower the resale price as people look to start with a fresh slate. Like for example, for me, anything that was on the car modded, I just stayed away. If it was modded, I stayed away. I wanted a fresh a blank slate for the car that I was gonna purchase. So when I got this car, it had 0 mods. It was completely stock, nothing suspension wise, engine wise, interior wise, everything was completely stock. That's something to look for. It just depends on what you really want to go for. And if you are spending quite a bit of money on it, my suggestion is just stay away from the mods. Don't spend that much on something if it's modded, because you don't know what you're getting at the end of the day, unless the seller is really upfront with you about everything that has been done to it, and like any type of issues that it may have. I just stay away from the mods unless that's the route you really want to take. If you don't want reliability, if you want it to be more of like a project car, then you can do that. But if you want something more reliable that you can mod and make into it what you want to do, like if you want to make it your own style, just try to get something that's not as modded. Compromise, like you could get an older model with less mods, but it'll be fresh, like a fresh start for you. Or you know, it might not be in the color you want, or things like that. You just got to compromise and find a car that best suits you and for what you want to do. Well, there you have it, guys. Just a last note, I wanted to touch on the issues that you might encounter with these. I would really look into what type of transmission that you want to get. You could do a 6-speed manual or the DSG. I find the DSG just a much better transmission, quicker shifting. I don't know, for these cars, I think that the DSG is the way to go. I do like driving manual, but I would recommend it that you get the DSG. It just suits the car a little better, you know, being fully electronic and everything else. A manual is kind of, I would say, a little outdated for it. For this car, the DSG works. Common issues, not really, I haven't run into any issues with it so far. Doesn't burn oil or leak it. It is relatively new, so yeah, not really much to say on that. If you guys can let me know what some of the common issues are, I'd be happy to make a video about that in the future. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.